I looked a little bit at the food in the context of the food chain, because some animals are really going to have a tough time. And I'm just going to go right back to ants and say ants are probably one of the biggest winners of this shakeup. And probably the biggest loser is the anteater. Because the anteater's whole shtick is that it's big enough that it can suck up ants. And now it can just kind of like lick them tenderly, I suppose.
The ant pleasurer.
And literally no animal is small enough for an anteater to eat anymore. So they're going to go really the way of the dodo very quickly. I think some winners, porcupines are probably going to have it pretty easy. Turtles are going to have it pretty easy. Pufferfish and crabs are going to have it pretty easy. Like, all these animals scale up pretty good. Losers, whales, also has a food problem.
And
because
krill.
instead of filter feeding, they're kind of just going to bump into them.
They're on liquid diet now.
And I feel like giraffes lose out pretty hard, too, because their whole thing is that they're tall and that their food is unreachable by all the other animals. And then once you take all that off, they're just like a little scrawny little dog that has no powers at all.
They just like bend down and eat bushes now. That's kind of it.
Yeah, so that was kind of like my initial take on it. And then I was looking at, you always hear that statistic, like there's just as much mass of ants as there are humans on the planet. And that's going to be a problem, because ants are real small, and they're going to scale up real quick.
Yeah, I think ants would probably take over the world.
So I was like, what is the least, like, the haven of humanity, the least ant-populated, the least ant-to-person ratio that I could think of? Manhattan is what I thought of. I'm like, at least in Manhattan, people will be all right. Unfortunately, in Manhattan, ants outnumber people 2,000 to 1. So it's gotta just get worse from there.
Well, would the ants still be underground?
I mean, probably not.
I mean, they travel a lot on the ground, and they would be like in buildings and stuff, which is now their new home.
So they just take over office buildings and stuff?
Yeah, they're just gonna take over.
So I actually kind of thought about that in regards to like exterminators in general, because on the one hand, their job gets way easier because it's really hard for animals to hide now. On the other hand, all the animals are 2 feet long.
Yeah, so obviously the thing I have to address is the ant strength. The ant has the strength 1,000 times its body weight is what an ant can lift. When it is 2 foot tall, doing all the calculations, an ant weighs 163 pounds. A ant can then carry 82 tons. Anyone want to take a guess what the average house weighs? Like one of those houses they take on the tractor trailers around and move it around?
I'm guessing way less than that.
About 40 to 80 tons. So effectively, one ant can pick up one house by itself. And I'm going to take a quick sidebar here and tell you, how do they measure how much an ant can lift? Do they just wait for ants to lift something? No, they do science. Carlos Castro, a mechanical and aerospace engineer at the Ohio State University in Columbus, tested their neck strength.
How?
Castro and his colleagues anesthized common field ants and glued their heads to a centrifuge about the size of a compact disc.
What?
As the disc spun faster and faster, the force applied to the ants increased, until their necks deformed and their heads separated from their bodies at the tiny neck joint.
Okay.
So this is how you test how strong an ant is. And just in case you worry this was an inhumane experiment, and I quote, "We had to put plexiglass barrier around the centrifuge to protect the grad students." So I just don't think we could handle this many ants. Like, we're just outnumbered, outgunned. Like, ants are super strong. They have hard exoskeletons. They have great teamwork. They build fortresses. And their one weakness, the anteater, is now ineffective.